My name is Simon Martin. I worked as a lawyer in investment management for 28 years. I retired in 2021. I now serve as trustee of 3 charities and designated dog walker for our high maintenance Cocker Spaniel, Stitch. I grew up in a village just outside Bedford, and I went to the same independent school in Bedford from the age of 7 to the age of 18. School was a very good experience for me. There was lots of chances to explore different ideas and play music and sports. One afternoon in the holidays when I was bored, I watched the 1957 film 12 Angry Men, which happened to be on TV, no Netflix or Apple TV back in the 1980s, of course, and thought that I would enjoy doing what Henry Fonda does in that film, which was persuading others of his point of view in a jury room. The expectation at school was that if you were good at exams, you would apply to Oxbridge. So I applied to Cambridge to do law, ended up at Fitzwilliam College in Cambridge for 3 years, playing sport, playing the violin, chasing girls, playing a full part in the college Christian Union, drinking Guinness in the college bar, doing a bit of study now and then, generally having a great time and being a bit of an idiot, as one should. Well, my goodness, things were so much easier back in the day. I knew I wanted to be a solicitor. There are 2 sorts of lawyers, of course, in the UK, solicitors and barristers. I didn't think as a stammerer that I wanted to try to be a barrister because it would involve speaking in court. The big sort of solicitor law firms came round on their hiring round in the summer term of my 2nd year at university and basically offered most of us law students who wanted to work as a solicitor in the city a job. And they paid for us to go through law school after we finished at university, which was nice. So I finished at university. I did law school in London for a year and then started as a trainee solicitor at this large London firm in 1991. I trained there for 2 years. Now, the expectation, at least back in the day, once you qualified after 2 years, was that you stayed with the firm as a qualified solicitor. But the firm got badly hit, literally, by 2 terrorist bombs that went off in the city quite close to the firm's buildings in 1992 and 1993. And basically, the firm suffered financially as a result because of the resulting disruption and also the recession that was around in 1993. So lots of us trainees who would otherwise have been taken on as qualified solicitors weren't taken on by the firm, and I had to find another job. I found the job at an insurance company in London doing investment management law and basically stayed in that field for my whole career, working as an in-house lawyer in investment management firms from qualifying in 1993 until my retirement as a lawyer in 2021. When it comes to the law, most employers employ you for the quality of your thoughts and your teamwork, neither of which require complete fluency in speech. So I guess the hurdles I faced were more, if you like, internal hurdles, as in things I struggled with under the surface rather than something where an employer would say, you can't do that job because you can't speak fluently. But my goodness, I felt horrible at times, particularly early in my career when I was learning the ropes and didn't want to attract attention. Now, my stammer when I was young was the sort of, if you like, machine gun type stammer where you repeat syllables. But as I grew older, I learned to, I think the word is circumlocute, that is constantly be choosing my words before I said them so I could avoid syllables I knew I wouldn't be able to say and choose ones I thought I could. But the problem, of course, comes when I had to say something specific, and usually that was my name. You can't choose other words. You have to say your name. You have to say the actual words. And my nightmare, which happened a couple of times, was having this sort of big meeting when I was a trainee solicitor, when you'd have lots of people in a room. You were advising a particular company, and in the room there would be the lawyers, the accountants, the bankers, together with the senior management of the company. And someone, and this is what I would dread, someone would say, please, could we quickly go around the room and say our names and which firm we're from? So people start going around the circle, and you count that there are 14 people who will introduce themselves before you, knowing that you won't be able to say Simon Martin when it comes to your name, and knowing that everyone will look at you when you want no one to be looking at you because you're a trainee. You shouldn't be the center of attention, and you're causing irritation because everyone is waiting for you to say your name and you can't. That's horrible. I used to have techniques around saying my name in other circumstances, because lots of people, when they answer the phone, will say their name as a way of answering their phone. I actually recorded my name onto a dictaphone, and then when someone would ring, I would put the dictaphone up to the speaker and play, "Hello, Simon Martin speaking," so that I didn't have to say it. If someone asked me to repeat my name, I was in trouble. I wouldn't apply for jobs at firms where I knew I would struggle to say the name of the firm. So two of the law firms in play at the time were Ashurst and Addleshaws. But because I struggled most of all with hard vowel sounds, I didn't apply for jobs there. How did I navigate my struggles with my stammer? I'm not sure I really did. I fumbled through as best I could. Like I say, you can't not say your name in certain circumstances. And if you can't actually say your name, then you do your best. And sometimes it took longer than others would take to say their name. If I got stuck, I would start having facial tics, such as twitching my head from side to side or rapidly blinking, not because I wanted people to see I had a stammer, but because that's just what happened when I stammered. I'm a lot more fluent now than I was, but still, if someone asks me to repeat something that they haven't heard the first time, I can still lapse into those facial tics if I can't get the words out. As I went on in my career, I was more open about having a stammer. I would discuss it with the people I worked with. And funnily enough, bringing it out into the open made it less scary when I did struggle with my words. The highlights of my career. Well, I think in every job, there are some things that you struggle with and some things you excel at. I was hopeless at lots of things. My goodness, I was hopeless at lots of things, but quite good at legal analysis and problem solving, and quite good at understanding the motivation of people on my side of a deal or the other side of a deal. So that's what I really enjoyed. I used to get a kick out of doing a big project and solving problems as they arose and getting under the skin, in a good way, so to speak, of the people I worked with, working out what made them tick, working out what they wanted most from this or that project, and then trying to deliver that as best I could. The cut and thrust of negotiation was enjoyable when I got to deal with human beings rather than sort of automatons, and there are lots of those in the city. And actually, I met my two closest friends in the law when I was negotiating against them. I used to love doing that. The other thing I really enjoyed later in my career when I was heading up a team was mentoring a team of younger lawyers and seeing them develop and then really fly. That's really satisfying. I think what I would say first is that people may tell you that being a stammerer doesn't matter. If you're anything like me, it does. It really does. It matters when you freeze up in a social context, when you want to play a full part in the fast-paced banter that's going on. It matters when someone introduces themselves to you and you have to try to find someone who knows you to introduce you back to them whilst they wait, which sounds ridiculous because it is ridiculous. It matters when you can't say what beer you want in a bar and the bar staff start to laugh at you and wonder if you're mad. It matters when someone mistakes your facial tics as winking at them and starts edging away. You feel awful. But here's what I've learned, and here's what I would say to a young person that stammers. There is a solution out there for you. I started having speech therapy at a very young age, speaking to a metronome. So the metronome would tick, tick, tock, tick, tock, and I had to say, my name is Simon Martin, like that. I've had all sorts of speech therapy since then, with people telling me to sing my words, people trying to hypnotize me, people putting me on beta blockers, people teaching me muscle relaxation and so forth. I visited loads of GPs and speech therapists, all of which tried their hardest with no great effect. None of the speech therapy techniques really worked that well. Then, after many years, at about the age of 26, I think it was, I found a course for stammerers at an adult education centre in central London, which taught me that I was a stammerer, would always be a stammerer, and to embrace it. And that seemed to work in a way that all the other therapeutic interventions hadn't. Curiously, by embracing the fact that I was a stammerer resulted in me stammering less. And now I really love public speaking in whatever context I'm doing it. Being relatively fluent after so many years of struggling is like being a child with a new toy. It's fantastic. And I guess, look, at the end of the day, people will think you're nice or nasty, good at your job or bad at it, fun or boring, whether or not you stammer. It won't define what people think of you, and it won't define your identity.